Norwegian People's Aid Hotspot Clearance in Albania. Removing the threat posed from unexploded munitions. Dozens of military storages were destroyed in unplanned explosions in Albania, containing thousands of tons of ammunition from 1997. Explosions killed and injured many civilians, while munitions kickouts from the explosion-contaminated areas around the storages, creating the so-called hotspots all over Albania. While the Albanian Armed Forces, the AAF, conducted emergency clearance of the contaminated areas, the operations did not include systematic and full subsurface clearance. Moreover, while these areas were previously military, they have since been closed down and therefore needed clearance before they could be returned to the community for civil and safe use.
Nderojmë kompaninë në Albania, që ka ardhur na bën pastrimin e territorit, se e kemi pasur plot të mbushur me predha me djegore, guxonim të nxjerrim fëmijët nëpër rruga, nëpër ara se kishin frikë se i preknin me dorë dhe i vrisnin. Falenderojmë shumë kompaninë norvegjeze.
Once the military left, the areas were also easily accessible, without any fencing or marking, and as such posed a threat to the civilians as well as provided potential opportunity to nefarious actors. In order to deal with the situation, the government of Albania and the Ministry of Defense have outlined a plan of action within its demilitarization framework, aiming to clear all hotspots. While some of the hotspots were being cleared by AAF explosive ordnance disposal teams, capacity in Albania was lacking for clearance of hotspots that required systematic subsurface clearance. Therefore, in 2014, the Albanian Mines and Munitions Coordination Office and the ITF Enhancing Human Security approached the NPA to assist in solving the problem. NPA is one of the biggest mine action organizations in the world and was, as such, experienced in large systematic clearance operations as well as capacity building. This video provides an overview of NPA efforts assisting the Albanian government in completing their hotspot clearance in the period 2014 to 2020, as well as building a sustainable Albanian capacity to deal with the residual threat enabled by the generous support of the United States government through the ITF. "38 unplanned explosions in munition storages, UEMSs, occurred in Albania from 1997 on, in 17 different locations throughout the country. These explosions were mainly due to poorly maintained and secured storages, with unstable and obsolete munitions stored inside, with the last explosion occurring in 2008. Thousands of tons of ammunition exploded in these events, with hundreds of tons of unexploded munitions contaminating the area. At least 590 people have been injured and more than 100 killed in Albania as a consequence of these UEMSs, or due to the collection of scrap metal at these sites by the local population after the explosion. Moreover, as an aftermath of UEMSs, land surrounding former munition storages was contaminated with munitions and unexploded ordnance both on the surface as well as the subsurface, and was thus dangerous for the local population living in the vicinity or passing through the area.
Fire! Fire!
The need for clearance of hotspots, as well as their negative impact on security and safety of the population living in their vicinity, was recognized in the government of Albania's Action Plan for Disarmament of Ammunition, and specifically Hotspots Clearance Plan. In 2014, the Albanian government allocated 7 hotspots to be cleared by the NPA. These included 6 hotspots contaminated from UEMSs, as well as one which was previously used as an Albanian Armed Forces training polygon and a range for open burning and open demolition activities. Tasks allocated to the NPA required substantial and systematic area clearance, which the NPA had expertise in, with more than 20 years' work in humanitarian mine action. On all tasks, AAF EOD teams executed emergency clearance after the explosions, and the NPA was tasked with conducting systematic and subsurface clearance to ensure the land was cleared and safe to use for the local population, and to remove easy access to munitions to potential nefarious actors. The NPA thus established and trained 2 clearance teams in systematic EOD clearance in October 2014. Throughout the course of the NPA's activities in Albania, Albanian Mines and Munitions Coordination Office accredited NPA teams and was executing quality control and quality assurance of the NPA's activities to ensure that the NPA work was executed in line with the standard operating procedures and international standards. AAF Explosive Ordnance Disposal, the EOD, teams provided ongoing support for demolitions of the items found, weekly collecting and disposing of dangerous items. NPA clearance results. Following the training of the 2 NPA teams, they were deployed to the allocated hotspots in accordance with the operational plans and with the aim of completing the clearance of allocated hotspot UEMS areas. These are the results of the clearance activities from November 2014 through December 2019, when the last allocated UEMS hotspot was successfully cleared by the NPA. Task Gjeroven, TDHS-002. An explosion in Gjeroven occurred on 19 April 1997 during civil unrest in Albania, with 5 casualties reported during the explosion, with 1 person killed and 4 injured. About 950 tons of munitions were in the 4 storages at the time of the explosion. In 2000, AAF EOD teams conducted surface clearance of the area. The NPA clearance started on the 12th of November 2014 and ended on the 23rd of June 2016. In total, the NPA removed 4,230 unexploded ordnance and 36,501 small arms ammunition and cleared 68,423 square meters of land. The original suspected size of the area was 63,000 square meters, which was expanded due to evidence on the ground and the NPA standard operating procedures. The civilian population in the communities surrounding UEMS is now able to use the land post-clearance for agriculture, growing maize, vegetables, and olives. Task Palikesht, TDHS-008. 3 storages in Palikesht exploded on the 27th of April, 1997. Due to the explosion, 1 person was killed and 8 injured in the area. The AAF EOD executed initial surface clearance of the area in the years 1999 through 2000. NPA clearance started on the 7th of September 2015 and was completed on the 17th of December 2015. In this period, the NPA cleared 13,321 square meters with 1,679 UXO and 1,778 SAA removed from the task. The cleared land is now used for pasture and is a pasture route for several shepherds in the area. Task Mobreshten, TDHS-009. 3 ammunition storages were located in the area, as well as several tunnels that were used for storing munitions. During civil unrest, all 3 of the storages, as well as an ammunition laboratory, exploded on the 18th of April 1997. Moreover, fire was set in front of the 12 tunnels. The areas were surface cleared by the AAF EOD during the years 1998 and 99. A large number of munition packages were tipped over the hillside. The NPA teams started clearance on the 12th of October 2015 and ended on the 22nd of June 2016. The NPA had to conduct some of the clearance on extremely steep terrain and slope, where searchers needed to use protective ropes. In these challenging conditions, the NPA teams cleared 65,227 square meters of area, removing 7,665 UXO, 61,442 SAA, and 260 small arms and light weapons. The cleared land is now used for pasture and is a pasture route for several shepherds in the area. Task Kordhok, TDHS-010. 3 ammunition storages exploded on the 11th of March 1997, with an estimated 220 tons of munitions stored at the time of the explosion. The AAF conducted surface clearance in the following months. NPA clearance of the area started on the 25th of July 2016 and was completed on the 31st of March 2017. The area was surrounded by houses and clearance had to be conducted around and inside people's gardens and yards. In total, the NPA cleared 24,470 square meters in the area, with 1,822 UXO and 748 SAA removed. The cleared land was rendered safer for 4 families living in the direct vicinity of the task. Task Pitsar, TDHS-011. 2 independent explosions occurred on this task in 1997. The first one occurred on the 13th of March 1997. During AAF clearance operations, a second explosion occurred on the 15th of May 1997, which resulted in 4 deaths and 9 persons injured, when stocks of cleared ammunition estimated at 120 tons exploded. Originally, 62,000 square meters were designated for clearance, but the NPA reduced this area following the evidence on the ground. NPA clearance started on the 25th of July 2016 and was completed on the 12th of May 2017. In total, the NPA cleared 28,285 square meters, removing 2,590 UXO, 14,007 SAA, and 2,789 SALW. Clearance effectively made land safer for the families living around the area, as well as for people passing through the area. Task Sinanai, TDHS-012. 6 storages exploded in Sinanai on the 6th of May 2006, killing 2 persons. The AAF cleared the area, but the NPA survey confirmed that there was still a severe threat in the area surrounding the storages. Based on NPA technical survey evidence from April 2017, the NPA designated 168,000 square meters for systematic clearance. The survey reduced the clearance area from the original 200,000 square meters. The clearance on the task started the 22nd of November 2018 and was completed on the 6th of December 2019. In total, the NPA cleared 171,389 square meters, removing 4,845 UXO and 17,000 SAA on this task. The area is surrounded by 3 villages, with the village of Demblan literally being on the border of the task. The area is now being safely used for agriculture, as well as safe passing of children to and from school. Task Ubesukt, TDHS-017. The original size of the hazardous area designated for clearance was 1,526,714 square meters, based on the initial assessments. Decades ago, the area was established as a training polygon for the AAF. Later, the area was used for open burn and open demolition activities. Around 1,500 tons of ammunition was disposed in disc task since 2008, additionally contaminating the area with unexploded munitions. The last OBOD activity took place in April 2011. Following the initial NPA survey, the area for clearance was reduced to 808,185 square meters through cancellation, as large parts of the area were already covered by the sea. NPA clearance activities started on the 28th of June 2017 and were completed on the 5th of December 2018. During the process, the NPA cleared 388,185 square meters of land, removing 16,472 UXO and 7 SAA. The Ubesukt area is a sandy beach and as such could be used for tourist activities after it is cleared. The remaining part of the area will be cleared by the NPA-trained AAF clearance capacity. Sustainable clearance capacity. As part of the exit plan, the NPA has provided training in EOD systematic clearance to 50 AAF staff from the engineering company of the support battalion of the AAF land forces, using NPA, SOP, and training plans. The aim of the training was to build sustainable Albanian capacity to deal with the remaining clearance in Ubesukt task, as well as any other areas that will require systematic EOD clearance in Albania, for instance former firing ranges. The NPA successfully completed the training and handed over the clearance of Ubesukt to the AAF, which has until March 2020 been performed under the mentorship and supervision of the NPA. The AAF is committed to having the capacity deployed at all times at the Ubesukt clearance site, also after the NPA exits Albania, while accommodating their other duties, such as deployment in missions outside Albania. AAF teams started clearance in Ubesukt in October 2019. Summary NPA operational results and lessons learned. EOD clearance is different from battle area clearance or mine clearance, as it is difficult to estimate the contamination levels as well as the size of the contaminated area. This is due to the fact that the quantity of munitions in storage before the explosion, the quantity that exploded, and the quantity that was kicked out were unknown. NPA intervention in the UEMS was further complicated by the fact that as a first response after the explosion, emergency clearance that was conducted removed the evidence of the footprint of the explosion, thus making it difficult to estimate the boundaries of the concentrated contamination. In determining the boundaries of the contamination, the NPA was following evidence on the ground to determine the actual size of the area that needs to be cleared that contains concentrated contamination. Moreover, contamination from UEMS can range from small arms ammunition to large munitions, which in connection to scrap metal stemming from tons of exploded ammunition, as well as metal that was in the storage themselves, makes clearance work extremely slow, challenging, and cumbersome. The NPA developed and continuously updated its standard operating procedures based on international ammunition technical guidelines. The NPA clearance toolbox in Albania involved 2 manual clearance teams of 28 people equipped with metal Schonstedt locators, Ebbinger UXO PIDD metal detectors, and Ebbinger large loop detectors UPX 740. Additionally, a mechanical plant assisted with the excavation of deeply buried items, as well as the moving of rubble from the exploded storage areas to ensure all areas were accessible and could be checked and cleared. The NPA developed clearance plans based on the initial assessment from AMMCO, as well as the NPA's planning assessment and reconnaissance on each of the tasks, and following the evidence once the teams were deployed. In total, the NPA cleared 759,200 210 square meters of land, cancelled 718,529 square meters through non-technical survey, and reduced 28,611 square meters through technical survey. During these activities, the NPA teams removed 39,607 UXO, 130,701 SAA, and 3,049 SALW. Out of the items removed, 5% were designated as too dangerous to move and had to be destroyed in situ. The NPA also removed more than 77 tons of scrap metal during the clearance operations and 29 tons of UXOs. Despite the very high number of items found during clearance and the density of contamination, with one item found for every 19 square meters cleared, the NPA has concluded clearance without any accidents or incidents, showing our commitment to safety and quality. Moreover, NPA work is leaving behind a trained national capacity that can deal with the remaining and residual threats. NPA's work of hotspot clearance directly contributed to increased security, safety, and protection against explosive weapons for almost 3,000 people living in the vicinity of the cleared areas. More than 10,500 people were indirect beneficiaries of NPA activities. Moreover, almost 2 tons of explosives were removed from these areas, significantly increasing security in the wider area. None of this work would be possible without the generous and consistent support of our donor, the United States Department of State, and the ITF, as well as the support of the Albanian MOD, AMMCO, and AAF.